Right, hello and welcome back to the Sunday Plodcast. Slightly different location today. Big shout out to Cardiff Metsport Broadcasting for sorting us out with this facility. Look, as always, presented by sportshoes.com. They kindly sent us a couple of shoes to review today. We've got the Asics MetaSpeed-Sky racing shoes and the NovaBlast 2s. So look, MetaSpeed-Skies, as I said, first of all, just look at this shoe.
Yeah.
The bright orange colourway is not for everyone, but right, in terms of just a few stats about the shoe, they're 210 grams, obviously have a carbon plate because we are talking about some super shoes here, and they use Asics' FF Blast Turbo cushioning midsole, which you compare to like Nike's Zoom X or Adidas' foam as well. But what I have seen, the shoe feels it feels firm enough, like almost like quite like a Next Percent, but it doesn't actually feel kind of as chunky as something like that, even like especially compared to an Alpha Fly, for example. Like it's a lot slimmer than an Alpha Fly. It feels a bit more like if anyone's tried the Adidas Takumi Sen, which is like a specific 5K shoe. I'd say this fits somewhere between the Adidas and then Nike's more kind of Next Percent and Alpha Flies, which are a bit bigger stack height.
Look, yeah, the one thing I like about this shoe is it seems to just be a lot more natural. You know, the way people run in it seems to be a little bit more natural. The design of the shoe as well, it's kind of a little bit like an old school racing flat. All they've done is just add a bit more foam and a carbon plate. And I think that's why so many athletes are enjoying it. It's not affecting their stride too much, which means, you know, they're not picking up hip injuries, you know, hamstring injuries that sometimes you see, you know, in the Next Percent, for example. And look, let's talk about the upper a little bit, because I love this, you know, real lightweight mesh. It's almost see-through, and I've always thought, you know, shoes can't be that complicated to make. Just give us the lightest upper, okay, and just give us some good, you know, some good foam on the bottom, and pretty much your shoes onto a winner, okay. And that is basically what Asics has done. They just stripped back everything that was in the shoe tech race, and yeah, it's pretty much, and they got a nice cushion around the heel as well. So I would say it's kind of, when you pick the shoe up, it just kind of looks basic and it just feels right, doesn't it? You just kind of look at it, you go, yeah, good foam, thin upper, weighs nothing, good little bit of heel support, and that's the shoe in a 101. And I think that's why it's such a winner. We're yet to see kind of how long the shoe's going to last, how durable they are. But for me, you know, it looks seamless. So I'm just looking at it and wondering, where's this shoe going to break down?
Yeah, 100%. And I think people who've listened to the pod before will know that we were a bit, not against super shoes. We kind of like, we like the idea, but we are almost, we like our classic shoes. Obviously, we've got a few pairs of old spikes up here, as you can see. So look, we like a more traditional racer. And I think this, for me anyway, it really strikes the balance between new technology, but also not feeling completely alien. Look, don't get me wrong, I love the Alpha Fly. I think particularly for, if I was to do a marathon distance maybe, like I think just the fact of so much energy return, I probably wouldn't turn it down. But when it comes to actually feeling fast and like if you wanted to do track reps and things like that, Alpha Flies, even Next Percent sometimes feel a little bit clumsy, if you like.
On that, how do these compare on the track then when you're ripping, you know, some 2s, some 4s? How do they compare? You know, are you still feeling stable on a track when you're going a little bit faster?
Yeah, I think the main thing with these is they're a bit wider and flatter along this kind of forefoot area, so it doesn't feel so much like when you foot plant that you're going to roll over one side or the other. I find the Alpha Flies are nice and wide, but because they're so high, going around bends, you are kind of moving laterally quite a bit. Next Percents, they're just quite narrow, I think, at the top, so that even though they're a bit thinner, it's kind of, if you go one way or the other, your foot's going across. But this is a really stable base, particularly in this forefoot here. I don't know if you can see, hopefully that's picking that up on the camera for you guys there, how wide that kind of forefoot area is.
I agree. I'm someone who has really wide feet, as you know, and these are actually really comfortable shoes for me. When I get into a Next Percent, I do feel the upper is quite tight. The lace design being on the side as well almost tightens it a little bit more. For people with a slightly wider foot, I'm one of them, and this shoe fits just like a glove. It fits perfectly and just feels comfortable. You're someone who even has narrow feet though, and you've still got no complaints, even though that sole is a little bit wider.
Yeah, well that's the thing, like, I'd say I've got quite small feet, but at the same time, again with you, the Next Percent's where the lacing is on the side. So you can see here, like if you haven't seen an Next Percent, I'm sure most of you have, as it is what we tend to use as the gold standard of super shoe. The laces almost come from this area here. Whereas I think we just prefer that traditional style of lacing straight up the middle. And I think, like you said earlier, you hit the nail on the head that it's a pretty simple shoe. It's got a really light foam. It's got just enough of stack height and the carbon plate that you are getting that propulsion. But at the same time, the upper's lightweight. It's no nonsense. The shoe's lightweight. The grip's good. And to be honest, in terms of durability, like I know obviously super shoes can be expensive. Obviously these retail at £225. But if you're looking for something that's super high performance, me personally, I don't really care too much how it holds up over a long period of time, if you like. Because if I just want the shoe that's going to make me faster in races, then I kind of bite the bullet and get them when I need them. So obviously, pairing with a super shoe and a racer, we've always got to have an easy runner, and often we get excited about the super shoes and things like that, but realistically, I don't know about you, Matt, but I probably wear mine once a week, if that, especially in track season now. I'm probably only wearing like a super shoe, carbon shoe, once every other week, and yourself probably even less than me, because you hardly do road sessions at all. So you got to pair it with an easy running shoe. And look, for us recently, it's been Asics. Like I've been wearing the NovaBlast a lot. I've kind of dabbled a bit with the NovaBlast. Matt, though, you're NovaBlast all the time. So these Asics NovaBlast 2. In terms of what Asics say about the shoe, they talk about how with the second one they wanted to create a smoother and more responsive feel underfoot than the first pair that I know you wore before as well. So it'd be interesting to hear how you think they've improved that. They're 275 grams. They've got an 8mm drop. Look, Matt, what do you think of them?
Look, yeah, first up, I agree with that. This is the shoe you're going to want for the bulk of your mileage. You know, we wear super shoes once a week, if that, like Lum says, and you know, you're going to do everything in these. These is what going to save your legs, stop you getting injured, keep you feeling good on those off days after you've just nailed a hard track session and stuff. And this shoe pretty much does all of that. It does all of the above. Like I say, this is a 50 mile. Here's the shoe. This is just the black and white colorway. I think it's a pretty nice colorway. Excuse it if it's a little dusty, a little dirty. Wore these this morning on a 6 mile run. And yeah, they've probably done about 60 miles or so already. But yeah, what can I say about them to start is, first thing, super comfortable. I wore the NovaBlast ones, and for me, they were probably just a little too like clunky. So I can resonate with Asics when they say they've made the shoe smoother. I don't know if the drop is less or something, but it just feels much more natural than the ones, for example. And I wore the ones and actually ended up going back to the Dynaflights, which were a much more minimal shoe, just because I like to run in a natural way. And you know, if you are someone who does want to feel the terrain a little bit when you run, but have that support, these shoes are perfect for that. You know, as these compare, we were guys who loved the Pegasus. We wore them for 5-10 years, and I feel like these, are better than current Pegasus. But
yeah,
even when you compare these to when the Pegasus was in its heyday, when the Peg 30 was out, Peg 31, these trump that shoe for me. And like I say, Asics have actually worked on their foam and made the shoe a lot lighter. That was another little bugbear of mine. The shoe is just a little bit heavy, but they've made the shoe a lot lighter as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like we said with the MetaSpeed-Skys as well, these shoes strike a nice balance for me, because looking at them and thinking about what Asics kind of traditional shoes are like, shoes of this size are normally heavier than this shoe. They're also a lot kind of stiffer, like you were saying, Matt. They don't have that flexion, whereas this strikes a nice balance in feeling like a sort of kind of lightweight, easy running shoe that you'd have, but it also has the size to protect your legs at the same time, which I really think kind of strikes a nice balance. And it's nice to see something like that coming from a brand like Asics, who more traditionally probably was a clumpy trainer, if you like. Like this shoe might look clumpy here, but if you put it on feet, it definitely doesn't. And if it is a bit kind of too clumpy for you, personally, I wear the Dynablast a bit more, which is basically the same shoe, but a little bit slimmer. So you do lose a bit of cushioning in terms of like saving the legs on the recovery days, but it's lighter again, and obviously you can feel the ground even more.
Yeah, and if you're someone, like I always think, if you're someone who likes to, if you're in an easy run and you feel good and you end up picking it up a little bit, this shoe allows you to do that. You can steady run in this shoe. You can probably even session in this shoe, if it's kind of a tempo session. And, that's why I like the trainer. But if you're someone who just wants to keep their easy runs super easy all the time, wear something a little bit more, durable, durable's the wrong word, probably just
protective, I guess.
Protective, yeah. Then it probably isn't a shoe for you. But let's talk about costs. This comes in at $129.99 on sportshoes.com. There's some going for £90 right now.
Yeah, depending on your size. So like if you want to pick up different colorways, if you're lucky enough to have a size in stock that's a bit cheaper. But obviously sports shoes always have some great sales on. But particularly like shoes like this, so often you can get discounted. And our discount code as well, Sunday Plod10, all in capitals, works on discounted items too. So you can get yourself a steal. Like if you're picking up these for 80 quid or so, they're lasting you silly miles. Like you probably do what? At least 400 miles.
That's a good point. Yeah, the NovaBlast ones, yeah, I did well over 600 miles in them. Yeah. And the NovaBlast 2s, I plan to do the same. They seem to be holding up absolutely fine now, and they're in between 50 and 100 miles already. So, and look, you know, if you ever want to look at a shoe and see if it's good, check out what the pros wear for their everyday trainer. And you know, if you look at any Asics Pro, this is what they wear. What Julian Wonders, Mo Couture, you know, Jay Griff, Eilish McColgan, they're all wearing this shoe right now, and that shows you that it's a comfortable ride and it's keeping them injury free. So I'll probably do the same for you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look, that's pretty much it from the shoes. As we said, we didn't want to get kind of too technical in there with you. There's plenty of reviews out there that go into that sort of thing for you. But look, just to finish, the reason we wanted to do these shoes, obviously, like both Matt and I love Asics. We haven't kind of hid that at all. But we're not kind of paid to say anything about that at all. We can give our honest opinion completely. But the reason we picked these two shoes is we actually think that with the versatility of them, you could literally, like maybe if you're not sort of like a track runner and you don't need spikes, you could literally get by your whole training week with these two pairs. We're talking these NovaBlasts here, they're working from anything from like your long run, easy runs, shakeouts in the morning to a steady run. And the same with these. With the MetaSpeed-Sky, you can wear them for track sessions, road sessions, tempos, anything like that. So with the pairing of them, if you're a road runner and you're racing on the road and you don't need spikes, you could probably get away with just having those two. I know some people love to have massive shoe rotation. To be fair, in fairness, I'm one of those people. But Matt, like yourself, you probably wear these two shoes and a pair of spikes and that's it.
100%, and I would probably just add to that, I think it's always good when you are rotating shoes that they are the same brand, because you know the sizing's going to match up, the fit's going to be very similar in Asics shoes. I mean, I think they do suit a wider foot as well. So you know, and everything about them, you know, the way they're going to make you run. These two shoes are very natural. We've echoed that a lot throughout this shoe review. So I feel like you're less likely to probably get injured and stuff as well if you just kind of stick with the same brand when you're looking to buy a racer and an everyday trainer, rather than chopping and changing.
Yeah, it's a good point, mate. Like, I think it does feel, they feel comfortable, don't they? Changing out of one and into the other, it doesn't feel so alien. They're obviously bringing out the new MetaSpeed-Skys with FF Blast Plus. So they've been given to the pros now, so hopefully they'll be out at some point to us kind of mere mortals in the future. And then the NovaBlast with the, I think heard the 3 is also going to have FF Blast Plus as well. So that's going to be crazy on them. A bit, I guess, similar to Nike's Invincible shoe, how they're using Zoom X in that, but in a more kind of cushioned way. Same as how they pair up to the next percent, if you like.
I better get some more miles in these bad boys so I can get them 3s on my feet.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, yeah, if you're interested in these shoes, check them out on sportshoes.com. Obviously use code SundayPlod10, all in capitals, for 10% off. And look, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed something a bit different from us today. Hopefully we'll do some more kind of vodcasts in the future, maybe shoe reviews, and maybe we'll actually try and get a guest in here in the studio, because we'd love to do that.